whisperinstoryteller here. I hope you are well. So, it is now December, guys, and I am sitting here with my annual Santa hat on and my ugliest Christmas t-shirt I could find. So I haven't got my Christmas tree up as of yet. However, that does not stop me from watching some of my favourite Christmas movies. So I thought what we could do today was to just have a sit down, you and I, and have a look at what I like to watch at Christmas time. Bearing in mind we all like different things, and there's a whole pile of Christmas movies I've never seen. I've never seen Bad Santa. I've never seen A Christmas Story. Now those are all things that are really... Can you hear that rain? Yes, we've got rain here in the UK at the moment. So yeah, what I thought I would do was to just tell you my 8 favourite Christmas movies of all time. Now why 8, I hear you say? Well, the reason being is I just didn't get time to do 10. The idea, I was going to do a top 10, but time ran away with me, so I thought I would just put out what I had, which is 8 of my favourite Christmas movies of all time. Well, what's at number 8 of my favourite Christmas movies of all time? Let's find out. The Night They Saved Christmas. Now there's great memories of my dad hiring this from the video shop when I was a kid in the 80s. Looking at it today, it seems like a mediocre TV movie, but you can't underestimate the effect it had on me and my brother as kids in that time period. The story is simple. There's a family who live in the North Pole due to the dad, who is a manager for a corporate oil company that is setting explosives to free oil from deep under the ice. When these actions are putting Santa and his elves in danger, Chief Elf Ed whisks family members Jacqueline Smith and her 3 kids on a magical journey to North Pole City. There, Santa pleads for her to get her husband and his company to stop the explosions. Why they couldn't just go for Dad and the bosses instead, I'll never know. The songs are forgettable, the effects are way dated, but this charming film still holds a real nostalgic appeal to people of my generation. The Night They Saved Christmas is pure cheese, really low budget, but like I said, it has got a fantastic nostalgic appeal. And I love it so much. It never really comes on TV these days because I guess it's so creaky and old in comparison to all of the modern films that are out. So we've got The Night They Saved Christmas. What is number 7? Santa Claus the Movie. Produced in 1985 by the Salkins, the father and son team behind 1978's Superman the Movie. I recall this film playing in cinemas at the time, but didn't actually get to see it until its video release. The whimsical fantasy comedy tells the story of Santa who loses the support of his chief elf Patch to a scheming, money-obsessed toy maker named BZ. In order to save Christmas and the children of the world, Santa teams up with an orphan named Joe, along with BZ's young niece Cornelia, to overcome BZ and restore Christmas and win back the affection of Patch. Okay, so this one is rarely on anyone's top 10 list, but once again there's a great 1980s charm about it. It's played with high camp, especially from Dudley Moore as Patch and John Lithgow as the evil BZ. It doesn't make you cry because it's rather silly and comedic, but there's something that makes you laugh. It's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine that never gets old. Okay folks, so that is Santa Claus the Movie. Now what is at number 6, I hear you think? Well, let's find out. Santa and the Three Bears is a charming animated feature from 1970 that fast became a 70s television staple for families for many generations. The tale of two bear cubs who decide to skip hibernation to join Mr. Ranger in meeting Santa Claus is most definitely twee for today's kids. In fact, we tried it out on some of the kids in the family and they weren't remotely interested. The animation is creaky and primitive, but once again there remains a big, warm, cosy heart to this production that makes it a true classic of its time. When it played in cinemas during the early 70s, it featured a live-action intro and outro that is often removed from the film for television and video releases. It's long been in public domain, and most of the time all you will find is versions of poor quality prints. It would be super nice if somebody gave it some TLC and produced a high definition release, although I do question whether the primitive animation would suffer under the scrutiny of HD. I probably think that some of these movies would not appear on many people's, but this is what makes it so great, that we all are very individual with our tastes and of course what we grew up with. So without further ado, let's see what lies at number 5. One Magic Christmas is another favourite I feel isn't as popular as it should be. Okay, so we're seeing a pattern of 1980s films here, and yes, it's another film I watched on video whilst growing up. Released by Disney Pictures in 1985, it tells the story of the Granger family who are going through a tough time financially in the run-up to Christmas. With Jack out of work and Ginny working as a cashier in a supermarket, they need a miracle, and Ginny's Christmas spirit is at an all-time low. Santa sends an angel named Gideon to help Ginny realise what she truly already has. Okay, so it does sound very reminiscent of It's a Wonderful Life, but One Magic Christmas also manages to stand out on its own as a grounded, scaled-back story that packs a real sentimental punch that will have you believing in Santa Claus by the end. It's on Disney Plus in the UK, and I highly recommend it to anyone who feels in the mood for something less whimsical but still offers that warm feeling inside as the credits roll. So that was One Magic Christmas, released by Disney from 1985. So now we have reached number 4. Now what could I possibly go for number 4? Let's have a think. Yeah, I've got it. Gremlins is the 1984 horror comedy that, despite still being super scary, also manages to offer a heartwarming festive vibe, even if it is still unsuitable for younger kids. Set at Christmas in a town that feels like Bedford Falls, Billy gets the ultimate Christmas present from his inventor father, a rare mogwai creature that he bought illegally whilst in Chinatown. Despite being super cute and adorable, mogwai also carries a huge danger, for if he gets wet or fed after midnight, I think you guys already know what happens if you feed them after midnight. It's ultimately a story of importance, of responsibility, but still takes you on a huge festive ride of scares, laughs and sentimentality. So Joe Dante's Gremlins lies at number 4, a fantastic film of scares and laughs and lots of festive treats. So now we're getting into the last 3. What is number 3 on my all-time favourite list? Let's find out. Love Actually. You don't get much more sentimental than this one, but sometimes you've just got to go for it. Richard Curtis's wonderful script for an ensemble British cast tells a series of interwoven stories that take place in London on the build-up to Christmas. We have Hugh Grant, Bill Nighy, Emma Thompson, Alan Rickman, Rowan Atkinson, Keira Knightley, Andrew Lincoln, Martin McCutcheon, and many more who really make this film the classic it deservedly is. With an overlying theme of love, all of our complicated character stories resolve quite nicely by the final act. And for me, whilst this film isn't perfect, it's still highly enjoyable, funny, sad, and ultimately satisfying. That is perfect with a glass of mulled wine. Rumour has it there's also many other characters that were cut out of the final film, including a gay love story between Francis de la Tour and Anne Reid. I wonder if these scenes would ever see the light of day again, maybe reinstated, and to make Love Actually a 2-part TV series. Yeah, I've gotta say it, I love Love Actually. It's very slushy, but it packs a total festive punch, and something is really great to sit down and watch every Christmas. So now we are on to the final two. What will be number 2, I wonder? Let's have a look and see what it is. It's a Wonderful Life. The oldest movie on my festive list, It's a Wonderful Life, was made in 1946. I'd often heard of the film but never actually saw it until I went with a friend to watch it at the cinema in the early noughties, and fell deeply in love with it ever since. The heartbreaking story of everyman George Bailey, who becomes hopelessly trapped in his small humdrum hometown of Bedford Falls through a series of unfortunate events, really pulls at your heartstrings. We watch his dreams fade until one snowy Christmas Eve he decides he is a complete failure and wants to jump off the bridge. It's then second-class angel Clarence shows up to show him how rich George's life truly is, and of course to earn his angel wings in the process. For me, it's the juxtaposition of a deep, inescapable despair to pure joy of being alive and simply being loved by others that really gets me. It's hard to believe It's a Wonderful Life was considered a major flop upon its initial post-war release, and only gained a second wind due to a clerical error which caused the film to fall into public domain in 1974. With repeated showings from endless local TV stations around the holiday season in the 1980s, the film fast became a perennial family favourite. For modern audiences, it can feel painfully slow, especially in the second act, where George spends a lot of time establishing the bank, but it all pays off for that killer third act that will leave you wanting to hug the stranger next to you and sing Christmas carols at the top of your voice. I absolutely adore It's a Wonderful Life, and it was a very close call between that being number 1. But I did choose number 1 wisely because of a few factors, and I think without further ado we should look to see what my all-time favourite Christmas movie is. Let's have a look. What's Christmas without a ride on the Polar Express? Released in 2004, the film has fast become a modern-day festive staple that is enjoyed year after year across the generations. It tells the charming story of a young boy who reaches his crucial year for his belief in Santa Claus and finds himself aboard a magical train ride to the North Pole. It is truly heartwarming and captivating. Aside from the creepy dead-eye animation, the film seems to capture the magic of childhood for me. There's something about the feel of the family house that stirs up memories from my own childhood, and that ambience of excitement and expectancy in the silence of Christmas Eve. It is all the ingredients that bring a lump to my throat every time, and there's no doubt it channels that inner childhood Craig. Lots of its ingredients add to that lovely feeling I get from watching it. Alan Silvestrie's sweeping, stirring musical score, its beautiful message of humanity, The magic of friendship and family, the cosy, inviting ambience, and maybe it taps into that primal, childish sense of love, security, and protectiveness we get from our elders and parents. I'm not ashamed to admit it, but that ending still makes me cry. And it's so remarkably clever and somehow not overdone. For me, it is almost the perfect film to watch on Christmas Eve when everything is done and dusted. And it's even better if you have the little ones with you. So there you have it, guys, my top 8 Christmas movies of all time. Now, had I done 10, which I originally intended to do, Scrooge would have been there, which is the Alistair Sim musical version from 1970. Fantastic film. For me, the greatest adaptation of Dickens' classic A Christmas Carol, and I know there's been lots and lots of variations of it, including the Alistair Sim version, which everybody seems to love more so, but I really love this musical adaptation, which is very much in the vein of Oliver from 1968. The other film which I love is Home Alone from 1990. Absolutely adore it. It's so funny and so Christmassy. I absolutely love it, but that would have been on my top 10 list. So guys, that concludes my top Christmas movies of all time. Do you agree with my choices, or would you go for something different? Either way, I would love to know. But until then, guys, keep watching, and I will see you very soon. Take care and enjoy your Christmas movies.